What's up, Facebook? How's it going? Rob here. I am in Tamarindo, Costa Rica. How's everyone doing? Hey, drop a comment. Let me know you can see and hear me okay. I'm not sure how strong the internet is where I'm at, the signal, but I want to make sure that I'm coming through okay. If it's your first time watching a live, or even if you're watching a replay, leave me a comment and let me know where you're coming in from. And if it's not your first time, just say hello or hi or hey. So I'm not sure, but I dislocated my knee pretty badly yesterday, and now I'm icing it and taking lots of ibuprofen to try to get the swelling down. Actually, I'll just show it to you if you all want to see it. It looks like a freaking softball. Here it is. That's my knee. I slipped. I was so that's my regular knee, and that's my bum knee, which I can barely walk on. But I was able to switch my flight. I'm going to be back in the States later tonight, so I'm excited to come home. It was a great vacation. Really enjoyed myself and the people that I was down here with. But yeah, this just happened it was a stupid injury. I was carrying a beach chair over my head, walking out to the yoga deck where we're staying, and my feet were wet because I just jumped in the pool, and my leg just went out from under me and came down in a really weird way, and I never saw my knee look like that. I was like, oh, I was kind of freaked out for a second because I was like, I didn't know what to think of it. So Julie was there and she straightened it out, helped me straighten it out, and then I just decided I'm gonna ride it out. I'm gonna take some pain meds and do some ice and get back in the States and then make up my mind what I'm gonna do. But anyway, that's not what I want to talk about. So again, if you can see and hear me okay, leave me a comment. Just say hello, say hi, hey, whatever. Again, if it's your first time watching, even if you're watching the replay, drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. I always like to know where the new people are coming in from. Try to connect them with others. But so I want to talk a little bit about. So this week, there's been, I don't know, a dozen people or so that have came on this trip, and some people have came and they left, and some other people arrived later, and we just had people arrive on Wednesday night. They were the last group to arrive. Anyway, I had somebody send me a message today, and they basically were questioning me because there was a girl on this trip that I was interested in getting to know better. And there were some times when she, so the way this resort is set up, just to kind of fill you in, there's 3 villas. Okay, there's 3 villas next to each other, and I'm in one villa for the most part by myself, except when Chris Shepard was here and he stayed with me from Oklahoma City. But there's a girl that's here that I'm interested in getting to know better, and there was a few times, where we, were in my room together, having conversations and just talking, and honestly, I kissed her, a few times, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I had someone confront me in City Fam, questioning me, like, oh, what's up with this? People, such and such being alone in your room, and I'm like, there's nothing wrong with having someone alone in your room. I've had a boundary not to spend time alone with females for several years because I was trying to get my sexual sin under control because I had been abstinent for 3 or 4 years, and I slipped one time when I was alone with a girl. So I put that boundary in place to keep myself out of trouble. But if I cross that boundary, that's not sin. That's just a smart boundary. But at the same time, this person doesn't live close to me. They live thousands of miles away from me, and I'm probably not going to see them for a long time. And I'm trying to see if there's anything there, if there's a real connection or not. And this is just what humans do. This is what we do. Men and women that are single, especially if they're marriage-minded, they have to get to know people. And what pisses me off is the culture that I'm starting to see develop in City Fam that I will not tolerate. I'm not going to play sin police or have people play sin police. That's bullshit. I don't want to be like the church. We're not going to be this organization that doesn't show grace to people and allow people just to be fucking human, because people are human. Sometimes people make mistakes. I didn't even make a mistake. I just was chilling with a girl. We were watching television in my room talking. And then people want to question me. And I'm like, listen, I told the person, I'm like, I'm not going to live like that. I was like, we don't have to do this. but I will not. I'll burn the house down to get a rat out. That's not going to be a culture of our organization. Look, we have to let people live and just give them grace. People forget their own sin. Is the funny thing. And I didn't even sin. But people forget the things that they did. The time you just got drunk not that long ago, or you slept with somebody not that long ago. I've had sex less than 10 times in the last 10 years. I think my reputation and my track record is pretty freaking stellar. So like, I don't like it. I don't like the culture of it. I see that in the church, and it's repulsive. I had a friend that got caught. He was a pastor, and he got caught in an affair. And he was a good dude. I mean, he did a lot for the community. Obviously, what he did was wrong. He was married, he was having affairs. But I saw the way that the church judged him. Like, they just, treated him like a freaking leper, And I look at the Bible and I'm like, what would Jesus do? Jesus would pull that person close. And he would say, you're forgiven, or whatever. Now, look, I know there's consequences. There's consequences to his actions, but, he's suffered those either way. We didn't need to be the one to enforce those consequences. He ended up losing his marriage, and family got split up and all that, lost his church. So it's like, it frustrates me, because I don't want to be part of an organization that operates like that. You know what I mean? Like, walking around kind of watching everybody. Like, now look, I know that there's verses that talks about flee even the appearance of evil. So we're not even supposed to do things that look like they could be evil, is what the Bible says. But that's a rough way to live. You know what I mean? Like, you have to worry about what everybody else thinks, and you're constantly walking on eggshells. No, fuck that. I'm not doing it. I won't. No, I'll leave the organization before I live like that. Like, I'm doing what is best for me. Like, as far as, I don't want to sin. I don't. I don't want to I don't want to sexually sin. I don't want to, cause other people to stumble. And for the most part, when people come into City Fam, the organization, they do a lot better. A lot of times, even the church people, they come into City Fam, and a lot of them were having sex behind closed doors. They come into our organization and they stop having sex. Now, look, we're out there living on the edge. City Fam goes into places where people are, meets them where they're at. Sometimes there's alcohol in those places. There's men and women that are single. There's a lot of dynamics. And there's going to be shit like this happen. And honestly, again, I didn't even do anything wrong. But the fact of the matter is, being confronted pisses me off, because I don't want to be part of an organization like that. So if, anybody that's in City Fam, I'm letting you know right now, we're going to be an organization that lets people be human. Doesn't mean you can't check people. Like I told this person, I'm like, look, I'm not saying I'm above reproach. I could make a mistake, but I'm not going to be confronted every time the rumor mill starts spinning, because that's what happens. People start gossiping. Oh, did you hear? Rob was in his room with a girl by himself. And listen, I'll tell you right now, she was never here late night, like not past 10 o'clock. She didn't spend the night in my room. But look, sometimes I wanted to pull away from the group. It's been a long vacation. I didn't want to be around everybody all the time. So I pulled away, and she came, and we got, we're getting to know each other. And there's nothing wrong with that. I encourage everybody out there, if there's someone that you're dating or you're trying to see, you're probably going to have to spend time alone with them at some point, because you can't do the group thing forever, and you can do public places. I've done a lot of publics. I went a lot of public dates, movies or whatever with girlfriends, but sometimes that's not an option, like being down here. It wasn't like I could just, go to the movies. I don't have a vehicle. So, I don't know. I'm just frustrated. Anyway, I'm going to go back to these comments. So our cab's picking us up in about. Take care of that knee. Thanks, Mark. Laura Shields, how are you? Mally Kukas. Willis, what's up, Willis? I miss you, bro. I'll be home tonight at like midnight, so if you want to come in the office tomorrow, work with me. Come on in. Sherry Hoover. Lori Clemens Miller, Liesel Weber. Hi, Liesel. Thank you for your prayers. Appreciate you. Heather Hudson, how are you? James Loomis, the next Steven Spielberg. Allison Tritt, how are you? Courtney Lauderdale Creech. Heather, she said, hi, Rob Kowalski. Mark Galecki, how are you, Mark? Donna Jo Watkins. Lori Clemens said, better click the weather forecast for your way home. No nor'easter is coming. And now I heard that, actually. So they switched my flight. So worst case scenario is I get stuck in Houston, where I have several friends. So I could always hole up with them if I needed to. Christy Knudsen Mariquin in Redding, California, getting her group going. Bob DeWeese. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. I'm going to see what happens. If it doesn't start getting better on its own in the next day or two, I'll go to the doctors. But I haven't had health insurance in a long time. I know. I should, but I haven't, because building this organization, honestly, I didn't have the money. So, Christy Brown Smith, Danielle McNay. Hey, Danielle, how are you? You got to make a trip to Baltimore soon. Thanks, Liesel. I appreciate that. Leor, what's up, bro? Miss you. Be home soon. James said, City Fam can be the real church. In many ways, that's what we are. We're a church without walls. Yeah, you're right, James. Randy Dorman, what's up? Bush Hog, am I allowed to call you that on here? Allie says, I have a good idea why you're doing this based on your position in City Fam, but I know I've been working not feeling not obligated to explain myself. I know we are in different places. Christians can be the most hypocritical people on the planet, for sure. Christians got amnesia. I'm like, they forget the things that they do. They forget the fact that they just did something not that long ago, and I didn't call them on it, and it was something that was wrong. And I didn't call them on it, because at the end of the day, we have to give each other the benefit of the doubt that we're trying, right? Like, that we're really trying to do our best. I'm working on myself. Somebody, asked me about something, I don't know, 6 months ago, and I was like, look, when at this place, you were really drunk, and then you stuck your tongue in someone's ear, and I never said anything to you about that. Threw up all over a car, like in front of new people. And this was somebody that was in a position of leadership. And I never said anything to them about it. And they told me, they said, well, look, I want you to know I'm working on myself. And I said, I know you are. That's why I didn't say anything. But you have to understand that I'm working on myself too. And give me the freaking benefit of the doubt, please. And that's what I'm talking about. Give each other the benefit of the doubt. Like, I kissed one girl last year. One girl I kissed. And then I've kissed 2 girls this year. One on New Year's Eve and one down here. And look, I'm not saying I'm doing this perfectly, guys. Like, I want to be married. I don't want to be single forever. I'm actively looking for a wife, someone to spend the rest of my life with, a helpmate, a spirit mate, as Jackie says. I want that. And I'm out here kind of, for 10 years, I didn't do anything. I mean, I've made a couple isolated incidents, but I wasn't dating. I wasn't making out with girls, I'm getting my feet wet again. I'm not saying, my go-to always was physical in my past. It was always, right away. So I'm kind of still trying to figure that out. But again, I didn't do anything wrong. I was just, trying to get to know somebody. And I don't like the gossip, the rumor mill, That's the most frustrating part with all this, is like, look, I'd rather those people just stay in church, just stay away from City Fam, because I don't want that toxic shit coming into our organization, because we're not doing that. So, all right, I'm gonna go back to the comments here. Christians, let's see. Willis said adulterous. Let's us be better than Christians that atheists look at and say, that's why I never be a Christian. Amen, James. I mean, we're supposed to be known by our love for each other. And Christians are not known by their love for each other. Christians are known by their judgment and the way they tear each other down. They hate on each other. Like, I've heard so many Christians hate on Stephen Furtick and Joel Osteen. I'm like, bro, let them run their race. You run your race. They're out there reaching a lot of people. Maybe it's different than you would reach people, but you just run your race and stop hating on them. Heather said, Rob Kowalski, that is a normal part of dating. You have to get to know someone and see if there's chemistry. Nothing wrong with it, with actually dating. You don't kiss every date, but if it has potential and you want to see if it's real, and simple affection is a part of dating. Again, yeah, listen. Like, how else do you get to know somebody? you know, like unless you spend time around it. This person does not live close to me. They live far across the country. So I'm probably not going to see them, like I said, for a long time. So, or I don't know how long, but I'm trying to see if there's any potential there. Let's see. Okay. Courtney says, but, Rob, sorry to have to say this. We are to avoid the appearance of. There should be no F this and F that because it's hard. You can't handle confrontation because of your pride. If you feel you're in the right, let confrontation go. Why not extend grace to the person who confronted you? Instead, you go live. That's right, because I'm building an organization and I'm shaping the culture, Courtney. So I'm going to go live and I'm going to address this, because if I don't go live, guess what happens? People talk. They'll be like, oh, did you hear? Rob was in his room with someone by himself. And then they talk. And then people get the wrong ideas. You know? Look, even Jesus couldn't please everybody. I damn sure won't. You know? And I'm not going to try. I'm going to try to obey God. I'm going to try to live according to his word the best I can. I'm sure I won't do it perfectly. But I'm not going to live to make other people happy. You know, because I can't. I won't make everyone else happy. So the reason that I go live, you can say it's pride. What I'm saying is I'm nipping it in the bud right now. I don't want this in the organization, and it's not going to be part of how we operate. And if people want to operate like that, let them go somewhere else. It's not welcome here. Okay? Doesn't mean you can't check people, but the way that this person, at least I perceive that they came at me, first off, how did they even know? How did they even know unless someone down here was talking, you know, and making it seem as if and they came at me as if I did something wrong. But when I asked the person, I said, what do you think I did wrong? They couldn't even give me an answer. What? I spent time alone with someone? That's wrong? Is that what we're saying? I mean, because look, that was a boundary that I kept, but I chose that for myself. No one chose that for me. And when I cross it, guess what? I am on alert. My radar, you know, my alarm is going off when I cross that boundary, because I know that I'm in a potentially dangerous situation, but I'm not sinning. I'm not. And I don't have to answer questions about it. So thanks, Liesel. Try to shake it off, Stevie Knight said. Thank you, Stevie. Hey, Melissa, how are you? Come back to Edgemere, James said. I can't wait, actually. You know, it's a good vacation when you're excited to come home. Heather said, yes, you cannot do the group all the time. Alone together will determine ultimately if there is death. Absolutely. I'm an introvert anyway. People don't know that. I get my energy by myself. So there were times I wanted to pull away from everybody, and I did lots of time on my own. But there was a couple times where, you know, this person came up and we sat out and we were in a hammock one day and we kissed. Big effing deal. We kissed. It's not a sin. We got to give people grace to be human. You know, like, I don't get it. Like, where's the grace? You know, Jesus said, worry about the freaking plank hanging out of your eye before you worry about the speck in someone else's eye. You know, like, we look at ourselves through rose-colored glasses, but we want to look at everybody else through a freaking microscope. And that said, Heather Hudson, yes, indeed, totally agree. I dated someone for 3 months. There was no chemistry. You would have thought, you would have thought there was by the pictures. In real life, there was no chemistry. Yeah, and you got to find that out. How do you find out if there's chemistry? Unless you get some time around the person, you know what I mean? So, like, I was taking advantage of this opportunity to do that, being down here to see if there was anything. So, whatever. Thanks, Adrian Mendoza. Thanks, Courtney. Hey, I don't mind you saying that. I don't mind you saying what you did. If that's the way you feel, it's fine. That makes for a good conversation, right? Thanks, Randy. You got this, he said. Do what is right and extend grace. It's good advice. We cannot be spiritual babysitters. We have to be brothers and sisters to each other. It takes relationship and discernment to go there without being a bunch of crazies. Thanks, Stevie. You're right. I mean, the thing is, too, I think, like, I have people in my life that I trust that can speak into my life. I mean, Jackie Dorman's someone, you know, Lori Lockamy used to be that for me, Chris Lockamy. I still have a lot of, you know, guys, Micah Hughes and good Christian guys in my corner. But it's like when there's somebody else that I don't have a track record with, like I don't have the relational equity with that person, you know, for them to be coming and trying to tell me whatever, especially when I see them doing things that aren't that great either. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, that's the hard part. And maybe there is some pride there. I'm not saying you're wrong, Courtney. It could be some pride there. I am pretty proud of the fact that of my track record. Come in. Hi. Yep. Going in. There's a couple of the girls now. We're getting ready to leave. Julie and Christy. Anyway, guys, that's it. I'm done ranting. I'll talk to y'all later. I'll see you back in the States. Love y'all.